Omar Ford, whose supposed good intentions took a really unlucky turn. 43-year-old Omar Ford, on March 29, 2020, pulled over an off-duty Orlando police officer for what he perceived to be erratic driving. Little did he know, this was going to be one of the worst decisions he'd ever make. A Castleberry police officer was immediately called to the scene by the off-duty officer, Zachary Price, knowing something wasn't right.
But did he have all his lights on?
Yeah, all of them. The front and everything. And then he had a siren on too. And I could hear it because I had the top down. It's like, wee, 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 and he's like changing between the siren tones, and he's like right on my ass. And I'm like, is this guy trying to pull me over? Because he has white lights. And then I'm like, I don't know what he's doing. And then he goes, pulls up next to me with his window down, his light's still on. He goes, yeah, just slow the down when you're passing me. And I'm like, are you pulling me over? He goes, you just need to slow down right now. And I'm like, so I stopped. And I'm like, okay. Like, are you trying to pull me over? So then I just called 911. I'm like, hey.
But when Omar was asked what had happened, he gave a different story.
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing?
What's going on? Where are you security at?
I work over in Winter Park at Central Place. I went to the Wawa, and while I'm going home, the gentleman flew past me, and his car danced. So I thought he might have been intoxicated. I didn't want him to hurt himself. So I blew my horn and I flashed the light, and I put my speaker up, and I pulled next to him and said, hey, slow down. You're going to hurt yourself. And then I kept on driving, and he looked like he was going to follow. He started following me. So I made a U-turn. I think he may have gotten road rage or something. I'm like, I don't want to get into any altercation. I just didn't want to hurt himself. I made the U-turn. And then he kept on following me. So I came here to make another U-turn. And then when I seen him, he was behind me. I said, well, maybe something is wrong. Because he kept following me. I said, well, maybe something's wrong. Let me get out and find out. I said, hey, when I got out, he said, oh, stay in your vehicle. So I said, well, I don't know what the heck is going on at this point. I just didn't want him to get into an accident because, it was doing pretty fast, and the car kind of did a little fishtail for him. I just didn't want him to get hurt. That's all it was.
Omar gives his side of the story that slightly differs from that of Officer Zachary, and here we find out that he's actually a security guard, not a police officer. However, officials explained that what he did was wrong, and that he could be mistaken for being an actual police officer.
The issue we have here is you're dressed as law enforcement. You're in a vehicle that's outfitted as law enforcement. So therefore, somebody's going to mistake you as law enforcement when you're not law enforcement.
But I never got out the vehicle.
Okay, but usually when a concerned citizen sees somebody that they believe to be impaired, they call us. They don't flash lights.
I was on the phone at the same time.
So what lights did you flash?
I have my takedowns.
So you flashed your takedowns.
Yeah. I thought it was an issue if you pulled someone over and got out and went through the whole thing. I didn't know.
No, you're taking lawful action to sit there and try to stop the vehicle.
But I didn't want to stop him. I didn't try to stop him.
To let him know, to notify him, to do whatever you're trying to do.
Well, I didn't know that. I thought, as a concern,
you're taking
this as a concern for someone.
Right, but if you were a concerned citizen, you should call the police. You're not supposed to take your security.
I got on the phone.
But again, you're not supposed to take security action on the road. That's where you're wrong.
Okay.
Ford insists that he was not trying to impersonate a police officer, but he's informed that if he were to stop a regular person, they might easily think he's an actual cop because of how his vehicle and uniform look. When a detective arrived at the scene, he and one of the officials discussed whether Omar should be filed or not.
What do you think, Detective?
Instructions aren't very helpful.
No, but he took action based off of hitting the lights, the siren, and the PA.
It's a shame he wasn't getting him to pull over. That would have made it more cut and dry.
Yeah.
He was just saying pull over. He was just saying slow down. But
I think we can file on this.
probably. And he never got out and presented himself
Sorry, no badge.
as he just threw his vehicle's actions.
Yeah.
But yeah, you certainly could still file it.
Yeah, we'll file it.
The real officers decide to file Omar with impersonation. Although Omar didn't say pull over or present himself as a police officer, he performed all the vehicle actions of an actual police officer, this being enough for the officers to charge him.
First, you're suspended for 3 years. Apparently you got 7 suspensions. You can't be driving, man.
I'll just park the car.
Well, we can't. This has got a lot of stuff in it. I don't want somebody getting into this car. So
when you pull it into the neighborhood right there and park it?
Well, that'd be the worst place to park it.
Well,
is inside of a neighborhood.
I live like 3 lights down.
I mean, it's on you what you want to do with this vehicle, but I highly suggest against it. I would prefer you call somebody at home that's got a license and y'all take this vehicle to the house.
I could do that too.
That's the first issue. All right. Second issue, under Florida statute, this is textbook impersonating law enforcement officer. All right.
I was not trying to
listen. All right.
I understand what you're saying.
By the way this vehicle looks, by the way you're dressed with the insignia.
Well, this is the company's uniform.
Okay, I understand that. But when you try to pull over a citizen, you know, a citizen would mistake this all day for a law enforcement officer.
But
this
that's
looks
why
exactly.
I didn't get out or anything.
Okay, but you still, on your way home from work, you hit your strobes. According to him, you hit your siren, and you cycle through 2 different sirens. Right? You can't do that. You're not allowed to impersonate or to, try to do your own traffic stops. A regular citizen would call us immediately, and we get these calls all the time about a vehicle they suspect to be in DUI. And we come out, we get behind the vehicle, and because we've been to the schools, we can pick up cues that would give us probable cause to pull that vehicle over. So before we can even hit our lights, we have to have probable cause, and we're trained to detect probable cause and determine what probable cause is. You're not. But you hit your strobes, and according to him, you hit a siren. All right, he thought you were LEO. So, I mean, you're not going to be arrested, but there is going to be charges filed on you. All right, they're going to go to the state attorney, and the state attorney is going to determine what they're going to do from there. All right, but I mean, you could be arrested on two separate things tonight. Okay. For one, driving while your license is invalid, and impersonating LEO.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to arrest you, but we're going to document the incident, and we're going to send it up to the state attorney to let them determine.
The officer tells Omar that he's not going to be arrested, but he is going to be charged and could be arrested for driving without a valid license and for impersonating a police officer. He was then told to call someone to come pick up his car from the road.
You want to get on the phone and get somebody down here? We can get this, vehicle off the road and not parked in the neighborhood where it's going to get burglarized. I think that's the best course of action. Well, I mean, I'm a cop in Castleberry. This is the city of Castleberry, so I know we
try to burglarize this.
Hey, I'm telling you, man.
What?
Ford was booked into the county jail on September 8, 2020, but later released after posting a $2,000 bond.